Chapter 8, Discovering My Conscious Awareness. The 12 pathways give you a complete solution to every emotional problem in your life. Whenever you experience uncomfortable emotional waves, you will find that the pathways are always ready to steer you around the rocks into the peaceful waters. The 10th pathway reads, I am continually calming the restless scanning of my rational mind in order to perceive the finer energies that enable me to unitively merge with everything around me. When our wonderful biocomputers are dominated by our addictions, our consciousness is scattered and harried. Our consciousness is then like a television set that drifts from the channel, that turns off when we want to use it, that sometimes won't stay turned off when we wish to sleep, that is subject to fading, and that will tune in only to the lower channels. We would not tolerate this type of performance from a television set, but unfortunately, most of us are so accustomed to the poor performance of our minds that we often accept such inefficiency as quote unquote normal. What is meant when the 10th pathway tells you to calm the restless scanning of your rational mind? As you grow in awareness, you will begin to realize that the activity of your rational mind is generally sparked by your security, sensation, and power motivations. You are trying to hold on to something you don't have, get something you don't have, or avoid something you don't have or don't want. You discover how your rational mind has become a pawn commanded by your ego to, quote, rationalize your security, sensation, and power demands and expectations. You begin to see that many of the, quote, clever things your rational mind devises to say to other people just turn out to be separating and alienating responses that keep you out of the, quote, us space. As you lessen the heavy load of addictions you have been carrying, your rational mind becomes quieter and quieter, and you begin to increase your insight and perceptiveness. You begin to have a choice that was not available before regarding the things that you used to say and do. You begin to tune into the finer energies around you when the precious space on the screen of your consciousness is not occupied by the emergency alarms triggered by your addictive security, sensation, and power models of how the world should be. The Living Love Way enables you to live in this powerful realm of higher consciousness by setting you free from your addictions, goals, and expectations that you have unknowingly programmed as essential to your happiness. For the structure and function of your biocomputer are such that this addictive programming triggers your thoughts, ideas, and words in a persistent and dominating way. The cultivation of preferences in place of addictions does not keep your mind rational does not keep your rational mind churning and scanning, for preferences are not sought after goals that keep you restless. With preferences, you simply flow along in the nowness of your daily life. Whatever the here and now offers you is a choice. You pick the one that most fits with your preferences. But either way, everything feels all right. Your rational mind is not excited into restlessness, striving actively. Preferences let you stay in touch with the here and now in your life. They enable your mind to become calmer and calmer until it functions as a powerful, quiet, one pointed, peaceful, effective servant to your consciousness. Thus, the Living Love system enables you to transcend tensions, anxieties, and conflict into a flowing acceptance of all of life. Your escape from lower consciousness levels helps to free you from the restless scanning of your rational mind so that you are constantly in touch with that deep, calm place inside of you from which you peacefully, lovingly, and blissfully watch the drama of your life. The 11th pathway reads, I am constantly aware of which of the seven centers of consciousness I am using, and I feel my energy, perceptiveness, love, and inner peace growing as I open all of the centers of consciousness. The seven centers of consciousness, explained later in this book, consist of a seven-step scale that can tell you each moment of your life exactly where you are in your journey toward higher consciousness. By using the 7-step consciousness scale, you clarify your minute to minute drama and add realism and depth to your life. You discover that your energy, love, insight, and inner peace will fluctuate up and down when your consciousness is involved in the lower 3 centers. As you learn to up-level your consciousness, you unlock enormous energy. You enjoy being able to unconditionally love and accept everyone. By letting yourself grow toward the higher centers of consciousness, you find the beautiful inner peace that you have always sought in your life. In living love, we work to integrate all of the centers. Everything in your life has aspects on all of the centers. You begin your growth towards higher consciousness when you first escape from being preoccupied with the lower 3 centers of security, sensation, and power, and up level your consciousness to include the unconditional love center and cornucopia center. Then you begin to watch your drama from the conscious awareness center. By seeing your drama from this meta center, you impartially witness all of your thoughts and actions on the 5 lower centers. In the next phase of consciousness growth, one goes behind this conscious awareness center into the 7th center, the cosmic consciousness, that peaceful place where one has eliminated personal boundaries and has unitively merged with the surrounding world. And finally, the 12th pathway. The 12th pathway reads, I am perceiving everyone, including myself, as an awakening being who is here to claim his or her birthright to the higher consciousness planes of unconditional love and oneness. Everyone you meet, including yourself, has the capacity for clear perception, wisdom, effectiveness, peace, and love. We are equal beings, but unless one has consciously worked toward higher consciousness, this hidden splendor within may be smothered by the addictive games that keep one separated and isolated. It will help us in our journey to higher consciousness, as well as being most helpful to others, if we regard everyone, including ourselves, as fellow travelers on the road to awakening. We begin to realize that everything we do is either a skillful or unskillful attempt to find love and oneness. Even if someone yells at you or hits you, he or she is trying to manipulate you so that you can fit the pattern of his or her addictions, and thus permit him or her to love you in his or her own conditional way. When your ego permits you to see the here and now actions of people with perspective, you realize that there is practically nothing anyone can do that you have not either done or wanted to do at some time in your life. We're just not that different from one another. Our egos and our rational minds keep us continually judging other people so as to put them in the wrong and thus give us a supposed advantage. A conscious being simply sees, with a compassion that is born of insight and perspective, that everyone is on the road to awakening. We learn to love others by accepting and loving ourselves, and vice versa. You realize that in place of the judgmental terms, such as good or bad, that we use to separate ourselves and our consciousness from each other, the simplest and most helpful ethical standard is to see things as degrees of separateness and oneness. You view the thoughts and actions that separate you on the lower part of the ethical scale. The thoughts and actions which unite you are on the upper part of the scale. Instead of labeling things as, quote, good or bad, you simply use your insight to determine to what extent your thoughts or actions separate or unite you in your feelings towards others. That which makes you feel separate tends to keep your life from working effectively, and that which enables you to experience love and unity permits you to harmonize your energy with the energies of the world around you. Whenever you are in doubt about whether to do something or not, just ask yourself whether it makes you feel more separate from people or more loving toward people. When you see how it all is, when you see everything that happens in your life as a moment to moment acting out of the great drama of your addictions, you will realize how you constantly smother the potential that you have within you. Higher consciousness means that you experience a flowing harmony with all of the interacting people and things in the world around you. This permits you to emotionally accept whatever is here and now in your life. Higher consciousness is not a mystical, metaphysical, far out bliss state. It is a practical, beautiful state of mind, which is your birthright as a human being on this planet.